What's up, humans? Welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Today's episode it's been a long time coming. I had been covering this and trying to look for more information about it for months. As you guys may know, I know that these words, synchronicities, tend to be a little bit overused and it's a loaded term already. But when I realized that YouTuber Professor Simon Holland released a video about 4 or 5 months ago of the SETI at home discovery that he spoke to people from the European Space Agency about this discovery that, as you guys know, back in the early 2000s, late 90s or so, the SETI at home project, which was installed in millions of computers around the world, detected a signal that was considered a techno-signal, like a message. It hadn't been cracked for decades. And then Professor Simon Holland revealed that it was cracked, that they got some imagery of it. Cut to about 2 months ago, it was reported that one of these images from the European Space Agency were lights. That's what they looked like. Sort of like city lights from a planet that is not very far away from here. I'm going to show you a little map that my friend Bert from Belgium, who is an astronomy specialist, made a render of it. And I've been speaking to him, and I've been speaking to Dr. John Mayer, who is also a friend of mine, and he's a wonderful researcher. Kudos and shout out to both of them for their assistance here. So, just to be clear a little bit, I'm going to leave you guys a little clip about how the James Webb Telescope works. Here it is.
When a science team is awarded time to work with Webb, they start by using a special software to set the required parameters for the telescope to conduct their science. The software allows scientists to use different modes on Webb's instruments to achieve their scientific objectives. When it's time for the observation, the code instructs the telescope to locate the target object and capture several images of it. Light from the target object is processed through the instruments, and the raw data the science team requires is stored onto Webb's onboard hard drive. Once the team's data is collected, their data and images are transmitted to Earth from Webb, to NASA's Deep Space Network ground stations, where their data gets routed directly to the Space Telescope Science Institute.
Yeah. Why did I show you James Webb? Let's talk about the capabilities of James Webb. It detects near and mid-infrared light. That's its specialty. As of September 12th, which was about last Thursday, I think, they've been imaging within the Milky Way in the direction of the Diagonal Clouds 1 and 2. So if they have spotted something that was 10 light years out, that's the direction it would be coming from. But the Diagonal Clouds themselves are much further than that. We're going to try and keep finding out what direction the Diagonal Clouds are located from, and we're going to try and locate the nearest star system in that direction from Earth. This is a message from Dr. John Mayer, who has been assisting me with this. We initially were confused because I have some information after I saw this clip from Matt Ford talking to Lue Elizondo. Check it out.
Now, there have been some significant rumors of events regarding UAP that may occur within, like 10 years or so. I don't know if it's something coming or a natural disaster. You hear of something big coming down the pike. Have you heard of these claims? And if so, do you have any idea what it may be?
Yes, I've heard of them. Yes, I'm aware of them, and I'm not able to have that conversation.
Got it.
It's not my conversation to have, but I am aware of it.
Yeah, so if you see that clip, especially debunkers and skeptics will initially jump and say that this is fear mongering. And I find it really strange that Matt asked the question. Lou said that he can't talk about it. I asked around, and I did get a tip from a person who does have contact with people from aerospace in America and people in Congress. This is a contact that I know, and that I have a very good idea of where he works and what he does, and I trust his information. So this contact was also taken aback by this question that Matt asked. And he told me something that alarmed me and made me go dig about what I could find related to this, because I immediately thought about James Webb. I've heard Andy McCrillen from that UFO podcast say a couple of times that if something is going to be revealed about NHI or potential ET presence, it would be a revelation from James Webb. And that is something that I agree with, because after I spoke with Professor Simon Holland, I started digging in my own sources, because I have contact with people in astronomy labs in Baja California, some in Australia, some in California, some in Spain, and my contact in Belgium, who also has access to tools and telescopes and stuff. And they're professionals. And they've been talking to me about a potential second discovery besides those city lights. The problem is that this information has been sequestered by the DoD and the DIA. They have a prime directive to people like Mr. Matt Ford, who has contact with people from the IC and the military, to not talk about this, even though, and I know from this source that I tell you about, this information is not classified. This information is within people's rights and need to know that it exists. What I'm hearing, and let me preface this to tell you that this is information that I am being told that I cannot confirm until these people who actually have the info, the source, tell me, yes, you're on the right track. But the source that I have does have confirmation from people within Congress that there is information about this so-called event. What I don't agree with is the choice of words Matt Ford used when he said natural disaster, or it was very ominous. And I don't think we're there yet, Matt, to be honest with you. So I would like some clarification on that, why you chose to say that. And you're probably going to say that you can't talk about it. What I've heard from people within Congress that is speaking to my source is there are briefings unclassified where people from Congress are being told that James Webb made a discovery. They managed to crack some of these codes. This is, as far as I am concerned, the same code that was discovered from SETI at home back in the early 2000s. But it was finally cracked over the last 12 months or so. One are those city lights, the other one, according to this information, I am not confirming that it is 100% true, but I know I'm on the track. I already cross-referenced it with another two sources who did confirm that they are being told this is it. Before I continue, let me tell you something. This is not what John Ramirez from the CIA was talking about. This is not Apophis, the asteroid that is supposed to come near us between 2028 and 2029. This is something different that is related to James Webb. And it's, I think, this is my conjecture, it is the topic that director Steven Spielberg is going to talk about in his new movie, The Dish. Initially, I thought that the dish had something to do with a petri dish, but I was wrong. It has to do with the satellite dish, which is James Webb. And coincidentally, the announcement of the movie was about a year ago or so, at around the same time when this was cracked. So keep that in mind. Keep also in mind that Steven Spielberg has some of the most credible and realistic movies about the UFO topic. Close Encounters, Taken, I think it was produced by him. He has a documentary on Netflix right now, and now The Dish. So he knows what he's talking about. He has access to that wealth of information at the very top. No question about it. So the information is as follows, and this is from a different source from the one I told you about. This person told me that they have already independently talked about a contact that discussed what happened in the late 90s and early 2000s. It's that signal that Professor Simon Holland talks about. Here's a recent clip where he talks about these city lights and where he talks about how it was taken to the European Union and they responded that we needed more data. But mysteriously, United States SETI, NASA, and the DoD were being extremely silent about this. They were not commenting at all. I found out why. Here's a clip of Simon Holland talking about this.
So SETI, interestingly, SETI globally, missing SETI USA. What are SETI USA doing with this data? I don't know. All my contacts are in Europe and Australia. I know what they're doing with it. They went to the United Nations and said, we found aliens. And the United Nations advised them, just purely advice, and said, do more research before we tell the world. We're living in unstable times. I think we should gather more information. So that's what's been happening. SETI Global. Weirdly, not SETI USA. But this week, there's a big change in policy. Another crack of the door has opened to reveal to the public that we've detected a technological alien civilization and we know where it is. And it hit the newspapers. I've read this all over the place. This is The Guardian. Amazing new technology set to transform the search, you see what they're doing, for alien life, as if they could now begin to listen. Well, they've already found it. What's happening here in this article that the scientists aren't telling the journalists is that they're justifying this massive funding that the EU and Australia specifically are putting in to look for details in the data. What you need to find is it's no good just having the radio on the moon listening to the aliens. You want to actually hear Hotel California or whatever. So have they done that yet? My source says they have. They found something called modulation. So it's not just rocks rubbing together. It might be, of course, a weird geological effect on an alien planet that's making some kind of radio noise. It's not. If you can tell that the signal is modulated, that somewhere in that signal are the lyrics on a dark desert highway, I'm being flippant, but what are they saying? How are they communicating? Who are they? I mean, that is totally unknown. They're not going to be anything like us. We can't bring human history, us humans, to interpret what the aliens are doing. But we can tell that they are doing something. So let me prove to you what I'm saying is absolutely true. By the way, you are going to hear about contact with aliens, little green men, flying saucers, what UAP actually are, here on YouTube. I'm not saying here on my channel, but you're not going to hear it at the BBC. You're not going to hear it on CNN. You're not going to read it in The Guardian.
Okay, so the information is as follows. James Webb confirmed two things. There are two techno-signatures. One, it's already been talked about constantly. It's literally just those lights that look like city lights. It's 4.9 light years away. To those astronomy enthusiasts, you can already make the connection there of where that might be. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave you guys to say it in the comments because you already have a good idea. And I already show a picture of what it might be. The second one, and this is the one where I don't think it's smart to take on the threat narrative. I don't know why this group, Elizondo and Putoff and all of these people that I talked to John Burroughs about, keeps going in this direction when the data is not supposed to be classified, and I don't think there's enough data to talk about this yet. And if there is, it is their responsibility to say it to the people. Why are you guys keeping information from the people? I don't understand why you're doing this. Mr. John Burroughs has a good understanding to why, link in the description, but I don't, because I try to give you guys an out. I try to take your position and understand that you guys are trying to do this for good reasons, but I still don't agree that you're doing it. So here it is. The second discovery was tasked to look at a possible incoming contact, so an object that they spotted. This person that I've been talking to was asked to not talk about the details yet, but they can tell me that the first discovery, the lights, came from ESA, the European Space Agency. The other one is coming from the USA Canadian team, also from James Webb though, but they're the ones leading this investigation. It was tasked from either the NSA or the DoD. They don't know who's the one tasking it, but yes, it is part of this quote-unquote threat narrative, which I don't agree with. And the signal that is incoming is the big unknown. What they know is that it is coming. What they don't know is what the hell it is. This is what I'm told. Again, I am trying to get people from Congress, either Congress people or staffers. I'm already talking to someone who's going to potentially get me those connections within 15 days or so to give me an official quote. I am not going to reveal their names though, but I am going to ask them to give their names to me so I can safely give you the information, because I think it is important to keep you guys informed on this as accurately as possible and stop the fear mongering, because it is not smart to do this, guys. It is not. Another detail that was given to this person that I'm talking to is that this object is making moves, braking moves, and course correcting moves. So that means that it is not a natural satellite. That means that it is not an asteroid either. It's coming this way, and it is massive. I wasn't given speed of this object. I wasn't given dimensions. It was very vague, and this is what Congress people are being told as well. But there is another nugget of information that they're being told, which is the reason they are doing these unclassified briefings, because apparently there is some level of urgency. That doesn't mean that it's a threat, but it needs to be looked at and it needs to be studied. And I guess we need all hands on deck with this, because Elizondo is already talking about it. Matt Ford is already talking about it. I know that more people are going to start coming forward with it over the next 10 days or so. But another source that I've been talking to told me that this same story has already been mentioned since 2016. And documents, official documents on it, have been promised and not delivered. So a lot of people who have heard about this don't consider this as true, because there has been no evidence. to support the claims. What is new for me and for this person that spoke to me about this, old news, he says, is that Congress people are being briefed about it as we speak, constantly. And now that Matt is raising the question here, what the hell is this? You know? So they're saying that between 2033 and 2034 is what they are projecting. I am trying to get telemetry information so we can get all the astronomy enthusiasts and professional astronomers to look at it. But the James Webb Telescope data is already in possession of these people that are briefing Congress. And there's the radio telescope data, which has been available since the early 2000s, which is from SETI and the ESA. Other organism that already knows about this is Australia. So this means that potentially Mr. Ross Coulthard already knows about this. So I am calling out Ross to please give us more information about this, because the person and the people that I'm talking to are serious people, and I believe what they're saying is true. So in order to avoid more cryptic messages such as the ones Matt Ford was giving to his people, which, I mean, he's well within his right to throw the question out there in the way he did it, but I would have done it differently, because this is what causes debunkers and skeptics to go at him. You need to be more specific with the question you're asking and at least give people some more information about it, not leave them hanging like that. So this is what I'm trying to do. I am still trying to corroborate the information, but I needed to tell you guys about it because this is a story that I've been following for months. And what Matt did tracks with what I'm following. So it is from James Webb, as Andy McCrillen said. And I want to know more information about this object, because I know that the people who have this James Webb Telescope data and also the radio telescope data know more than what they're saying. So please come out and give us the information. We need it. It's not cool to withhold it if it's not classified. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. I think it's an interesting development. I think that we need to keep an eye out. I am calling out for all astronomy and researching enthusiasts and professionals to please start asking questions to your Congress and to your astronomy laboratories in your countries. What do they know about this? Because it is very specific information. And I've been talking to people in Baja, and they do know something's up. It's coming from Europe, and it's coming from the US and Australia too. So let me know what you find out. This is a great assignment for everyone to do it together. And I also have one last request to Mr. Matt Laszlo from Askapol. I already sent him this question, but I am going to let you guys know what I asked him to ask Congress people. I asked him, could you please ask any congressperson what they can tell you about alleged unclassified briefings some of them have been getting about the information that came from James Webb Telescope? What I'm hearing is that they are being briefed about some event that they already expect by 2033, and it's making people with information urgently brief Congresspeople. Matt Ford alluded to it talking to Lue, but treated it as if it was classified, and I was told that it's not. This is something recent related to the techno-signatures discovered by SETI at home in the late 90s and early 2000s. And as I tell you guys, I suspect this is going to be the most talked about topic over the next month or so, besides the hearings and the threat that is coming from China, allegedly. Let me know what you guys think What do you think this object may be? Why do you think this group from the disclosure effort is being so coy about it? What do they know? And why are they not talking about information that is not classified and keeping it hush hush? I do apologize for the inconvenience this may have cost some people, but I think it is important to stay transparent to folks, and I'm going to keep digging, and I am also going to make mistakes. So if I made a mistake here and some information is not accurate, you can be damn certain that I'm going to correct it. But now the information that I have, I consider it valuable and I consider it accurate. If that changes, I will say it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please, if you like the content you see, like, share, comment, subscribe, share in any platform. YouTube loves that. And keep commenting on this, which is, I think, some of the most important news of the year. Let's see how this goes. And without further ado, I'll leave you guys until the next video tomorrow. Bye.